up, beautiful friends? Welcome to I Am Woke. I am your host, Emelina Calder. In this video, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what is the law of one. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, my name is Emelina. I'm a high-performance spiritual life and personal branding coach, a spiritual mentor, a modern shaman, an Akashic Records reader, and a psychic medium. All here to help you step into your next level version of yourself and create a life that you absolutely love alongside Source and Spirit. I post videos on personal and spiritual development as well as energy updates at least a couple of times a month. If that sounds like your vibe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Tap the bell for notifications so you don't miss any energy updates. If you're new here, I also have a free meditation that I've linked below in the description that I really think you're gonna love. It's called the Sacred Rainbow Flame of Creation, and it actually will help you facilitate, connect to, and re-emphasize your own personal Kundalini and Source connection. Now let's jump right in. The law of one. What is the law of one? So the law of one is something I've been channeling now for a little while. They really approached me, and by they, I mean the law of one are all of the laws of the universe, like the law of karma, the law of transmutation, all of the different laws that actually run our universal reality combined into one. So all of the consciousness exists in one unit, and it's called the law of one. It is all of the laws working together. It is God consciousness. It is oneness, where everything is combined, where we are all one, there is no separation. They always tell me that when you think of them as being separate, when the laws are separate, when you separate out the laws, it becomes like this or this. It separates into two. It becomes this, there is a separation instead of a unification. So then you're working with love and fear as opposed to just love, and love actually eliminates the presence of fear. So when you realize everything is cohesive and working together, and all of the laws of the universe work together as one unit, then there is only one perspective or vantage point to consider, and it's the law of one. It is the law of love. It is the law of connection. It is the denial of separation. As within, so without. We live in a holographic mirrored reality. Anything that you see that you don't like outside of you is living inside of you at some level of your consciousness, whether it's a direct reflection on how you think, how you believe, your expectations, or something that you might be perceiving at the multidimensional level at different versions or parallel versions or lives that are happening in alternate realities. Regardless, it's being mirrored and reflected. As within, so without. As without, so within. We're all one. So once you accept that you're one with all, you can start to shift the energy from the place of love and good, positive expectation. Now I'm going to drop into a little channel. I'm just going to check in with the law of one and see how they would like to describe themselves and their connection with me, and maybe how you guys can work with them as well, if you feel guided. The law of one caters specifically to each and every individual. There is no separation in the way that the law of one meets you and presents from where it is that you are in holding of your own consciousness. If you have the consciousness that is more of a beginner territory that feels like a newborn baby, we will not meet you with the expectation or consciousness of a grown adult. It really does meet you where you are. Now, you might wonder what that expectation means. And what it means is that there's a level of karmic reparation or understanding. We would not approach a 2-year-old and expect that 2-year-old to have the understanding, conscious awareness, and be able to make the decisions that a 22-year-old would make, or that a 46-year-old would make. And this is how we meet you in your own conscious awareness. We meet you right where you are, with what you are, and give you the knowledge that you need to compensate for that which you have not yet learned. Now, the more mature that you become in your process, the more hands-off we are, and the more that we just hold the space and the container in your consciousness for you to consciously learn and create your own decisions so that you can find out and discover who it is that you are on this journey to self-awakening, which is what the spiritual process is and why you have agreed to come and incarnate on earth at this time. If you are in a more newly beginner territory, we will have more of a hands-on approach and give you additional and alternate guidance through more synchronicities, through more relationships, to give you and present a different level of ideas, as well as the additional time for you to sit in the amalgamation of what those ideas may come to be for you. And some of that sitting process and allowing it to bake into who you are may take several years. And that is where many of you are. So those of you that are wishing for more psychic abilities and more specific communication and communion with the law of one, such as Emelina is such a vibrant example of this sort of relationship. But many of you are not quite there yet because you are still gelling in your understanding of the energy of one and what that even just feels like. We would liken this to teaching you how to swim. Let's say you are a child, a baby, and you don't know how to swim yet, and your mother brings you into a pool. The first thing you're feeling is not, oh, I'm going to put one arm here and then I'm going to swim and I'm going to know what I'm doing and I'm going to breathe the right way. You don't know. You are just a newborn babe. What you are doing is feeling the sensation of what is this thing that I'm in. They call it water. It feels more dense. It feels slower. It's a little less safe than what I feel like solid ground is, but it feels different than the air. And then you dip your head under and realize that if you breathe, you're going to bring in water into your lungs. And then you have a spike of fear, because it's not that there's actually fear present. It's more that you're starting to gel in your awakening to understand what water is. Okay? When you are in the newer aspects of your awakening process, and that is not to say that you are any less better than others that have more experience, it's just different. You're going into the school of oneness, of what it is to understand that you are one with all. And you are in the vibrational experience of feeling, of sensing, of knowing, and coming into awareness around what it is to be one, as opposed to what it is to be in separation. For when you come into this world, you assume separation. When the umbilical cord is cut, you are now officially separated, as there is nothing that you are within as you were when you were in the womb space. It is a very different experience. So there is an experience of understanding separation. Oh, I am no longer attached to this other human giving me everything that I need. Now I am separate. And there is the idea and the identity of the ego that creates that separation. Then when you come into more spiritual alignment, then you have to take all of that and mix it together and allow it to alchemize with the idea that not only are you separate, but you are also one. And in the process of that, the law of one helps and assists you to sense what that means before you come into the awakening and mental understanding, the fine-tuning and the process of what it is to be one while in separation. And again, it is a sensing process. It is an empathic process. It is not fine-tuning a mental process. It is a vibrational understanding of you and how you interact with all of the laws of the universe consciously and subconsciously separately, as well as all of those people around you, taking into account the mirrored reflections of this reality, sensing and understanding and sensing and understanding until you intuitively start to swim, because you've gained the understanding of what water is, how to float, how to breathe, how to tread water, how it's not a good idea to breathe underwater, which you would only know if you stuck your head underwater and tried breathing. So these are the experiences that many of you are going through with the law of one, with this idea of oneness rather than separation, is you are learning what it is to swim and you've not encountered water yet. So it's a very new experience. So when you are understanding oneness, you are jumping into the water, which is the oneness, which is to understand the rules of the one, the rules of the vibrational experience of what is mine, what's not mine, what's projection, what's not, how am I projecting, how am I acting, what's being reflected, Where am I going with this? What am I feeling? What am I sensing? Am I in danger? Am I not in danger? How do I invoke protection? How do I know what's mine or not? How do I know how to help those around me versus overhelp and overgive? What is stimulated within me? What is understimulated within me? What do I need to perceive within my experience so that I can awaken and enliven the highest aspects of me while realizing that everything around me is me? And this is a very different experience than it is for the ego development, for what it is to become developed as a human and live in a society such as your own. So with this, we hope that this understanding is valuable to you as you understand that the law of one is not just a constructed idea that you're all of a sudden going to receive and understand overnight, that it is a process of a spiritual hierarchy of awakening where you are learning step by step by step by step who you are as you are swimming through a different density of experience, of awakening, of vibration, and of understanding, and how all of that vibrational matter relates to you, how you perceive yourself, how you see through your own eyes, and how others see you. Emelina has become a beacon of what it is to be in step with the law of one. We have been avidly working with her and training her to be in the density frequency, in the vibrational understanding of what it is to be in sync with the law of one, with every single movement, every conversation, every phone call, every interaction, every dollar she makes, in everything that she does. She is a walking vibrational practice of what it is to practice being in sync with the law of one at all times. This is not to say that she has any more hierarchy above anyone else, but we are more explaining the process so that as you watch how Emelina moves, watch how she freely associates herself with others. Watch how she genuinely interacts from the space of her authentic soul self and her authentic heart. And you will be able to see as a model or as an example what it is to live from a place of the vibrational frequency of being one with all, for she has taken significant time an awakening experience and sacrificed nothing in the process but the idea of separation, and has been so fundamentally dedicated to the level of understanding that everything is a version of herself, that she is a good example to watch in how she moves. And we'd like to bring your attention here, sweet ones. This does not mean you ought to move as Emelina moves. That is not the example. The example is to see how someone moves authentically with themselves, as if you were to watch an example of an Olympian swimmer in a pool. How do they swim? Watch how they swim, and then you know that you're gonna do, if you're gonna do a specific freestyle stroke, there are certain rules to the stroke, but the style, the breath patterning, how you move specifically in the water attuned to your body is completely and utterly up to you and your own personal authentic expression. Emelina has taken considerable awareness in realizing that everything is herself, that she is in collaboration with all. So as you watch out as she moves through her public image, as she moves through interacting with other humans, as she moves through not denying herself her humanity, you will see what it is to watch someone swim in the vibrational frequency of being one with all without being in separation. And the separation is the original denial of the self, the denial of the humanity. But watch as she allows her humanity and as she allows the channel to move through her. And all of that is done through the water or the vibrational frequency of authenticity. The more authentic you are, you will understand that the vibrational frequency, the density of the layers of what it is to be alongside and in and with the law of one is to be totally, completely authentic and deny nothing and allow everything. It is purely cooperative. It is how spirit works. Everything you are is a cooperation. And that is from the perspective that we would like you to see this unique channel from. It is at this time we will pass the microphone back to our sweet Emelina, and she can have her parting words before she finishes her complete metaphysical opportunity of educating you about what it is to work in sync with the law of one. Thank you, sweet ones. We enjoy your cooperation. All right. This is so fun. You guys, my channels have been giving me so many compliments publicly. Okay, so my last parting words are A, I'm flattered that the law of one just channeled through what they did. B, I've never heard them explain that even to me in the understanding of like moving through water or another density or frequency, but I would say 1000% that is what it is. And I have for the last year for sure, for the last 2 years, like more than that actually, like every movement I have made, I have done so from the spirit of cooperation, not competition. And I will say it is a very challenging practice because everything in this world outside of me would tell me that this is conflict based, that really I should be guarded and defend and there's dangers, which hi, there are, but not when you're in sync with the law of one. So learn how to swim. It's gonna be fun. If you guys have questions for me, I have no idea what you would ask me because this is like so effing esoteric and metaphysical. But if you have, if spirit works through you and you have these little sparked questions, leave them in the comments. A, I will respond to them. B, if they're real, like vibrant and spirit wants me to, I'll make a video on it. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me in this video. I love you all so much. I am insanely grateful to be here on YouTube and to make these videos with you guys. You have no idea. This has been like an ongoing dream of mine to be this confident and healthy and feel this vibrant within myself. You know, it has not been an easy process to speak my truth. I came from some pretty significant trauma in my background that wouldn't allow me to speak my truth. So to be able to be this for you guys, I know it looks simple. I know it looks effortless because it is. It's a big deal for me. So thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for listening to my channels that come through. You know, we're in a really unique day and age. Like if I did this hundreds of years ago, I probably would have been killed. So like, I'm literally just so happy to be here in this year, in this day and age, in this stage of awakening, and to be so confident in myself that I'm willing to share my authentic truth with you. So thank you for being here. I love you all so much. If you love this video, please give it a thumbs up, like it, drop a comment. I would love to hear from you. Subscribe. And if you love my energy and want to explore working with me, I'm going to leave some links in the description for you below. So much love, you guys. I'll talk to you soon.